Really. You're the most successful generation ever. Done more for other people than anybody. I'm not saying you're complacent, and I'm not arguing for complacency. I'm just saying, how come you deserve to get vilified and ripped off? How, where did that I'm just not I'm not understanding. Right? It's like too many crickets. So rather than curse the darkness, I would like to light the candles, right? And part of the way we do that, is with the whole elder law thing, right? By making sure that we make the system work for you as much as we possibly can. That's the deal. And guess what? There are enough techniques and strategies and everything else that the rich left lying around so that you can use them, so that the middle class can pick up those tools and preserve what they've worked for, what they've earned. I don't see how that's a bad thing. It's like this whole the other thing we're involved in, the employee retention credit. This is the tax credit that it started during the COVID, and it's not. Look, it's a little bit. It's if you have a business and you have employees, right? So if you run a business and you have employees, and I keep running into people who've never heard of this, it absolutely drives me around the bend that people are not aware of this program, and yet they're not. They get there are robocalls now. I get them. I get 2 or 3 a day where people are, you're going to get this free government money, blah, blah. And it's like, well, it's not exactly free. I mean, you did have to earn money and you did have to pay employees, and you had to do it during the pandemic. And like any other government program, there's a million rules around it, and you have to do it correctly, like anything else. If you're not doing it correctly, you're just setting yourself up for disaster later on. But the point is that if you do it correctly, there it is. I mean, it works really well. And the point is, so here's how it works. Let's say you were running a business back during the pandemic, right? Remember COVID? You remember that? Still around. You're on your 23rd vaccination for it if you're into that kind of thing. Because this one will last at least 6 or 7 weeks. Hey, it's really great. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, the point is, during that pandemic, you kept your business going. You kept your people employed, right? You did. And you had to go from whatever you were doing to something else because the government said, you can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore. Or you got to do it this way, that way, which shut you down anyway. The impact was to shut you down. And it doesn't have to be a complete shutdown, a partial shutdown, so long as it's not insignificant. And that's fine. That's enough. That's what you have to show. But the point is that if you did that, then for each of your employees that you kept going during the COVID, if you didn't get PPP money for those employees for that amount, right? Because you can't double dip. All right. So if you paid somebody, let's say $10,000, right, for a quarter, let's just say you have $40,000 a year, $10,000 a quarter, and you got PPP money for $5,000 of that. Well, you can't claim the PPP on the $5,000, the first 5, but you can on the other $5,000. Plus, you paid them the next quarter too, so you wind up getting the money. Point is that for most small businesses who kept going, I mean, this has been my experience anyway. Most small business kept going. They were shut down fully or partially by governmental orders. And that has nothing to do with the fact that you also had revenue reductions. Now, some people actually had revenue increases, meaning more dollars came through the door.